I need you to knock some sense into me. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, I don't know.
I enjoy listening to you. I don't always agree with everything.
All right, enough of this persiflage.
So, you want my question?
I'm certainly not going to get myself in trouble by telling you what to do.
That makes great sense. Gosh, that's good.
Did I overwhelm you with words and wisdom?
I've got 7 kids. I feel like I could call you every day.
Wait, you're telling me I'm wrong? Disconnect.
Yes, I am, Dr. Ray.
You just need to tune in to Dr. Ray, honey. He's got all the answers.
Am I right or am I right?
Probably.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
My wife said I need to get some plants for the kitchen. So I went out and I got a cactus. Had it for about a week, and it died. And I thought to myself, I'm depressed. I am a lot less nurturing than a desert. Well, hopefully be a little more nurturing here. Empathic, understanding, loyal, true blue. I'm Dr. Ray Guarendi. The program here, The Doctor is In, as it has always been. This name was given by a Mr. Jerry Usher of Take Two. Yeah, Jerry, long ago. Back when I was just coming out of the gate with the program, he decided to call it that, and I just thought about Lucy Van Pelt. She has The Doctor is In, and she charges 5 cents. Actually, she's more expensive than I am. Now, some might say she gives better advice. I don't charge you anything. She charges 5 cents. Hey, Andrew, maybe we should start charging 5 cents, you know? I mean, it builds up. Nickel here, nickel there. It's like the politician said. You know, you're talking $1 billion here, $1 billion there. Pretty soon you start talking big money. The number to get onto the program, 8 Chart Stargin. Is that what I said? Chart Stargin? Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's your typo. Start charging. 877-573-7825. 877-57-EQUAL. That is the number to get onto the program. If you have a question about something in your life that matters or doesn't matter and you're feeling bad because it should matter and it doesn't matter. You know, like taking care of an elderly parent and you're thinking, oh, no, I'm feeling neglectful. Or kid. Or faith question, generic question. There's really a pretty broad range of questions or comments, too. A lot of people calling with comments, helpful comments to people who have called in and said, look, I had that situation. Or, as often happens, Dr. Ray, you know, you didn't say this. And I want to say, well, you're right. I wouldn't want to list all the things I didn't say in a 6-minute radio call. I didn't say anything about training dogs. I didn't say a word about the high jump. I didn't say a word about cliff diving. That's a rough sport, isn't it? Cliff diving. Think about it. How do you practice cliff diving? You are either a grand champion in cliff diving or you're stuff on a rock. It's hard to make a comeback in cliff diving. Anyway, I digress. 877-57-EQUAL. That's the number to call to get onto the program. I want to say something to all of our affiliates and all of our independent stations. I just appreciate being with you guys. Well, I shouldn't say guys. I'm using guys in the generic sense. It's a privilege. All of our wonderful networks, the places I've gotten to go, and no, this is not a farewell talk. This is just something that hit me in these holiday seasons. I just appreciate the fact that you allow the program to be on your air because it's your decision. I have no particular push. It's up to you. And I do appreciate you holding on to the program this long. 877-57-EQUAL. That is the number to call. I'd like to hear your calls if you could. You talk to Eric Dumont, Call Screamer. And our producer manages all the stuff there in Ann Arbor. The holidays. You listen to the songs, you know. Once again, as in olden days, happy golden days. We're all here, gathering together. Family, friends, good times, nice. warm. And for the most part, it is. However, there are times when it brings people from far away that you're kind of grateful they live far away. Or there are people you don't see much, but you're going to see them because you're having some kind of gathering Christmas Eve at Grandma's house or Aunt Grace's house or wherever it might be. And this person is just tough for you to take. Oh, they're either opinionated or they're a bragger or they've long since abandoned any kind of religious beliefs and they look at you like you're some kind of religious weirdo freako and you're waiting for them to say something to get a pot shot in at you. Or your daughter's living with her boyfriend and she's going to bring her boyfriend and you're always kind of uncomfortable in that situation. Or your cousin is bringing her same-sex partner. What do you do in this stuff? How do you... Oh. I will give you a piece of advice. Think of one hyphenated phrase. Time limited. Time limited. You can be cordial and pleasant, actually loving, to anybody pretty much, unless they're going to punch you in the head or something. If they're just obnoxious or they're just difficult or whatever it is about their personality that rubs you the wrong way, if that's just the way they are, so what? It's only for 2 hours or 3 hours, or you can be in a different room. But how do I don't know, how do I be nice? Oh, well, that's easy. Be nice. Ask about them. Yeah, but my cousin's coming in. She's got her same-sex girlfriend. Okay. You can talk to them. Why can't you? You don't have to bring up whatever it is that they're practicing in their life. You just talk about their lives. They sure got a lot of other parts in their life other than their particular relationship. That's easy enough done. You don't have to dread anybody coming to your place or you going to their place or you being in a gathering because it's short term. It's very short term. Yeah, but I don't want it to, I want to be warm and content and happy and feel good about it. Is that the only person there? The other people there? You can really enjoy them. And yeah, watch out. Uncle Hector's going to corner you and go on a running tirade monologue about your political beliefs or your opinions or your response to COVID or whatever it was. You can just kind of sit there and stare at him. You don't have to argue with him. Don't argue, please. Don't argue. When you got folks like this that have their opinions and you know it, don't argue with them. Why? You think you're going to change their mind? Now, let's say, for example, they attack the church or they go after some deep moral issue like sanctity of life. Or you can say stuff. You can say things like, well, do you understand what you're saying? Or point out the process. Don't necessarily argue with them. Do you think it's a baby or not? But don't get into it with them. When you see that conversation is heading south fast, back off, back out, go to the bathroom. At my age, I can go to the bathroom about every 9 minutes. So that's a pretty good excuse. Or where's Ray? Oh, he's in the bathroom again. How many times is that now? It's been 3 hours here. Yeah, he's in there 9 times. Okay. Sometimes, confession, sometimes I really don't have to go to the bathroom. But it's kind of a way to extricate myself from what is potentially heading in a southwestern direction in this conversation. Time limited. You can be pleasant. You can be cordial. You can be kind to anybody pretty much. If it's 2 hours or 1 hour or spotty, you're not going to sit there the whole 3 hours with them. If it's a family gathering, they may be somebody you kind of come across for 6 minutes or wherever it was. You're not even sitting at the same end of the table. Strategic placement Sit over at the far end of the family room. Go in the garage. The key is don't dread it. Don't let one or two people that you have a hard time relating to ruin your Christmas Eve or your Christmas dinner. Don't let that happen. It's not a problem. You're bigger than that. Well, I don't want them to think I condone what they're doing. That's my daughter, and she knows how we feel about her living with him. Are you going to not treat him nice? Well, I don't want him to think we accept this. Well, they already know you don't accept it. Just because you treat him nice doesn't mean automatically I applaud what you do. Think about it. When our Lord ate with the tax collectors, like the lowest of the low, was he thinking, now I don't want them to think I approve of what they're doing? He was a good Jew. He didn't approve of what they were doing. Nevertheless, he still treated him well. Time limited. Remember that phrase. Time limited. 877-573-7825. 877-57 That is the number to call. I want to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Marianne Kuharski with Pro-Life Across America. Did you know that a billboard can save a baby's life? When our billboards and radio ads are running, we receive hundreds of calls from those seeking pregnancy information and support. Every caller is connected to a local center offering free ultrasound and confidential counseling. Won't you join us in this life-saving effort? Donate today and help us do more. No gift is too small. That's prolifeacrossamerica.org.
Which of the 7 sacraments has been especially instituted by Christ to aid those who are being tried by serious illness? It is the sacrament called the anointing of the sick. This sacrament was particularly promulgated by the Apostle James, who said, "Is anyone among you sick? Let him call the priests of the church, and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer of faith will save the sick man, and the Lord will raise him up. And if he has committed sins, he will be forgiven." Over the centuries, the sacrament came to be used on those who were dying and was called extreme-unction. But in this day and age, it is seen not as a sacrament strictly for those who are near death, but also those who are gravely ill, in the hope they will recover. This is Peggy Stanton, and this has been the Order of Malta's Minute with the Catechism. Thank you for listening.
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866 Ave Maria or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
I like bumper music. What is it about music that virtually everyone likes music? They may like different kinds of music, but they like music. It's like God wired that into us, that appreciation of beauty. It's certainly not anything that we need for survival. For those who say, well, we're just wired for survival. That's all, we just evolve, and all these things that we are attracted to or not attracted to all come down to whether they're useful for survival. Well, the fact that I listen to music isn't anything useful for my survival. What is it about me that appreciates that, and about you that appreciates that? And you look at a sunset. 100 people would look at a beautiful sunset, and pretty much all of them would say, boy, is that beautiful. Well, there's nothing evolutionarily beneficial about that. I don't need to think that's beautiful so I can survive better. You'd think if it were random, half of them would say, ooh, that's ugly. And the other half would say, I don't know. I don't think it's that ugly. I think it's kind of nice, really. And then some would say, I take it either way. It doesn't matter to me. Most people would look at a beautiful sunset, even if they aren't moved by it, they would say, yeah, I got to admit, objectively, it's beautiful. What about that? God wired it into us. Came from somewhere. To appreciate beauty. Okay, let me give the number out again, because typically what happens is when I do the opening monologue, the phones start to get pretty active. Well, right now, you want to get in here real quick, you can, because it's quiet. 877-57-EQUAL. That is the number to call to get onto the program. 877-573-7825. You will first hear the melodious voice, the mellifluous voice of Eric Dumont, Eric with a K. And he'll say, the doctor is in. What is your question? He always says, what is your question? I always tell him, Eric, say, what is your question or comment? What is your question or comment? 877-57-EQUAL is the number to call. I want to talk a little bit more about the old, if I'm nice, if I treat with very unconditional love, I'm condoning. Your daughter's living with her boyfriend. Your son's living with his girlfriend. They're coming for Christmas. And this isn't particularly, laying aside even the moral issue, this isn't something particularly you don't like. You think they're really sort of bad for your son or daughter. This is not a good person for them to be with. So if I treat him nice, or I treat him with consideration or kindness, then I don't want to send the wrong message. I don't want to send this like I perfectly approve of you being with my daughter or my son. You're not doing that. You're not doing that. You got to get past that. You're basically saying, I want to treat you with respect. I want to show you that my religion is not something that's going to stand between us. I'm not going to cluck my tongue. I'm going to do that. I'll treat you very respectfully. Let me stretch this. This might rock a few of you. Then I'll get to the phones because I know the calls are coming in. Could you treat the live-in boyfriend or girlfriend equal to what you would treat a spouse? Oh, Dr. Ray, wait a minute now. This ain't even the same situation. What are you talking about? Now, I'm just talking about treating them as a person. Can you do that? I'm not sure I want to send that message that I think that living together is equal to marriage. You're not sending that message. You're simply treating that person well. Now, if they want to interpret it as, well, they must think it's pretty good. It's okay. Well, about time they came around. That's their business. You don't have to straighten out their perception. I better jump on the phones here. All of a sudden, it got busy. So, all that said, you don't have to follow in this. If I'm kind, I'm condoning. Laura from Indiana. Hey, Laura.
Hi.
Thank you for the call, my dear. What's up? Now, my tradition is that you buy me gifts.
You're not a materialistic man. I know that.
How do you know that? Because I drive a 2002. Because I drive a 2002 Buick.
Yes. Because you could drive a clunker.
It's my babe magnet. That's what it is. I said that to my priest once. I said, hey, this is my babe magnet. And he said, yeah, the babe is 87. So you're asking about our families. Yeah, go ahead, honey.
Well, I wanted to say thank you for the reminder of how to be charitable and show love to everyone, no matter what. And we need that. And second of all, I was curious, what do you and your family enjoy around Christmas?
My wife and I, quite a while back, Laura, stopped giving each other gifts. My wife said, Ray, it's kind of ironic here that we're fortunate enough that if we need something, we can go get it. And she says it's also kind of ironic because she says, I'm going to take the money that you earn and then I'm going to go have you and buy you a gift with the money that you earn. So that's my wife's perspective. I got to admit that she's more likely to get me something really sweet and warm and wonderful than I do, not because I'm just a bum of a guy, I don't think. I think it's just because we've got this understanding that, in fact, okay, so that's not a tradition. It's sort of a tradition. It's like a non-tradition that we don't do that. What do? We pretty much have Christmas Eve at our house because we have the house that's big enough. When we had all the kids at home, we have 4 bedrooms, and so when they can come in from out of town, we have it at our place. Now, last year, I know this is digressing a little bit, we had all 10 kids there, all their spouses, all their kids,
Great.
4 dogs for a week.
Oh, my.
Now, when they left, I had to repaint every wall in my house because little kids cannot walk without balancing themselves along a wall. Yes. Yeah. And I don't mind that. But I wish they wouldn't do it after they've eaten ice cream with their hands. You know?
Yeah.
So tradition.
I always like thinking of you when I watch my grandkids degrade the value of my house, and I think of you.
It's true. I calculated I lose for every hour the grandkids are there about $400 in depreciation of my house. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know how you have these little edgers when you at the edge of your say for example a corner, you have a little edge piece, like a little clear vinyl piece that you have. Well, I guess the rule is when you're 5 years old and you come around the corner, you have to drag your 4 fingers along the wall till you hit that edge piece and snap it. That's a rule.
Yeah.
That's how you got to walk.
Peel it off with your ice cream finger.
Yes. Yes. The Lord has taught me. I don't say a word. I'm not going to say to the kids, hey, come on, guys, keep your hands off the wall. I'm not going to do that. I've never said once, keep your hands off the wall. Not once. I got 9 grandkids. Nah, I'm not going to do it. Okay. So it's just the Lord has taught me, Ray, just shut your mouth. It's just stuff. People are more important than stuff. Okay.
Yep.
So that's it. Any traditions? Well, we had one, Laura. This was when the kids were littler. We had a tradition of going to Children's Hospital a few days after Christmas with about half or more of their gifts.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And they came to accept that. As a matter of fact, some more than others had a bit of a delight in doing that. Some of them, they kind of fluffed up about themselves as the little volunteers went crazy. Isn't this sweet? Look at this. Oh, isn't this nice? Yeah. And then you had a couple of my daughters going, yeah, we were forced into it. I'll tell you how nice it is. You ain't going to get all 10 of them to agree,
Nope.
So, honey, you know what I do?
Give easily, something not. I
put the tree up right after Thanksgiving or even right before Thanksgiving because, and I know it's Advent and really the Christmas season is after Christmas, but I guess the magic left over from when I was a kid. When I was a kid at Christmas time, the only time you really got stuff was at Christmas time. It's true. The only time I really got candy was at Halloween. That's why I'm so stinking greedy on Halloween. But that for me, and I listen to Christmas music constantly. It drives my wife nuts. I say, honey, come on. Everybody listens to Christmas music in August. Come on. What's wrong with you? So, Laura, that's sweet of you to even be interested. Forgive me for rambling on about that. All right, we got a lot of calls up there. Thank you, dear people. It's interesting. Okay, all I had to say was the lines are open and you people fill them up. What does that say? Does that say, well, we're not going to get through, or if we do get through, we're not going to get taken? I mean, that's not true. That is just not true. We have a lot of lines, and if I wouldn't ramble as much, I'll get to everybody. All right, not going to let this bumper music go on very long. I want to beg your patience because I want to get to everybody that's up there. Andrea from Erie, PA, home of Father Larry Richards, who has been on the TV show with me, a segment every TV show for 15 years. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, dear. Yourself?
Oh, good, good. So I just had a comment about what you were talking about people, how to treat others, with love, regardless of your opinion on maybe how they're living or the decision as to who your child is dating, if that's okay.
Sure.
So when my daughter was in high school, she dated a boy that I really did not approve of. And my immediate reaction was to, put my foot down and say, absolutely not. This is not happening. This is why it's not okay, yada, yada, yada. But instead, what I did after a lot of thought and prayer about it at the time is I voiced my concerns to her about it. But I also told her that I trusted her judgment. Now, that being said, this is not somebody who was going to get her into a lot of trouble or anything like that. So it wasn't a safety issue. And so, I proceeded to always treat him very nicely. I even invited him over quite regularly. And what I found through that experience is that we tend to find more solutions when we treat people how God wants us to. And it also allowed me to keep my child within my sphere of influence, so that we could talk things through as they happened. And eventually she ended up seeing what I saw, and their relationship ended. And then I was able to sort of fully be there for her without her pushing me away with the whole, well, you never liked him anyway, or you didn't approve of this, or you didn't approve of that. So all of that to say, I feel like whether a child is an adolescent or an adult, treating their significant other with contempt is only ever going to alienate us from our children. They're going to see it. They're going to see what we're doing, and they're not going to appreciate it. And if we want them to hear us and listen to what we're trying to teach them, then we kind of need to practice what we preach. How can we be teaching them moral teachings if we can't even manage to treat people the way that we're supposed to treat them along the way? You know what I mean?
Your point is very well taken. Here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
How would you have decided that this guy was dangerous, not just physically, but to her moral well-being?
How would I have decided?
Yeah. And what would you have done if you would have said, this guy wants one thing, my daughter, or this guy is influencing my daughter to hate her religion, or this guy is polluting my daughter toward me? How would you decide? At what point do you say, okay, you're in high school, you're not 19, I'm going to take this action?
I would say if I saw any change in her behavior, if I saw that in her, that there was a danger of that, and I didn't with her at the time.
Did you trust her to be physically chaste?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant if morally, if I thought she was making decisions that weren't, no.
Well, that's true, but what about the fact that, say, for example, he has no real religious upbringing and his morality includes, hey, we're physical, we like each other, let's do it. And if you knew that was where he was coming from.
Oh, well, then at that point, I would just have to pull the parent card and say, no, you can't see him.
Okay. So it comes down to...
I'm pretty sure. Okay. That's not what happened. So, it's hard for me to say, certainly. But I think that I would probably just say that that's just flat out not appropriate. I mean, she's a child.
Okay.
And, as a parent, it is our duty to protect them from those things.
I think that's a good balance there, Andrea. It really is, in terms of engaging. That's really what's tough for parents, which to gauge, okay, this particular person, I see these things about them, my daughter does not. How much time do I allow in her to see these things? I hope she will. I suspect she will, which is good. A lot of times they do. You're absolutely right. But at what point do you say...
I think depends on the child, too, because some kids are more aware of things like that than others. And it's not a better or worse situation. It's just that every kid has a different personality.
I think you're right. Some very nice thoughts there, my dear. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
Oh, And one thing my mom always said to me was that if you run into somebody that you don't think is good to have around, you can just love them until they run away, because eventually they will, because they won't like it.
Thanks, Andrea. Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I saw a survey. I know I'm eating up time when people are waiting, but I saw a survey that said one of the best predictors of whether a guy is right for a girl is her girlfriend's assessment. Girlfriends, S plural. In other words, not one girlfriend, but her social group's assessment, what they see. Okay, let's continue on here. Maria from Abilene, Texas. Hello, Maria.
Hi, how are you?
I am fine, my dear. Yourself?
I'm okay. Thank you for taking my call. I'll just try to make this quick and brief.
Well, that's okay, because you're going to bounce up against the break, and I'm going to have to take you through the break anyway, so don't rush.
Okay. My question is, as a Catholic trying to live or increase the virtue in Christian charity, especially toward my family members, if one of those family members is physically violent with
Yo!
as my sister was to me, she attacked me, and so I haven't seen her in over a year, and I really do not feel safe around her because she has a history of violence, but just
Yikes.
it was never been directed at me or anyone in our immediate family that I know of. So, how much of a relationship should I try to pursue with my sister at this point?
Well, when
knowing
you haven't
that I'm
seen
not
her,
safe around her, knowing that she might attack me again. Another
big.
family member had to hold her back because I was not fighting with her. I was not going to strike back. I just said, we need to not do this. Let's go our separate ways. And she still wanted to go at me, so to speak. And so she finally left. This was actually at my home. And I said, you're not welcome here again, because this is not a safe situation. She tried to talk to me the other day. I just happened to see her in a random place, and I just greeted her hello and left it at that. But she was still pushing me in a public place where she made a scene. Like,
wait. I want to understand. Maria, Maria, ho.
Yes.
I want to understand something. You're saying that when you saw her out in a public place, she got pushy again?
But she was trying to be nice. And in front of other people, she can be the most charming, nice person. She's beautiful. And she made it seem like I was the one that didn't want to talk to her for no reason. And I just said, hello, I'm moving on. And she was still trying to, engage me. And people were, staring. And it made it seem like I was just, shunning her on purpose.
All right. Stay there. Stay there, dear. The music makes us be quiet. I will get to you right after that. Hang on. Don't go away. 877-573-7825. Dr. Ray. Thank you for joining me. Okay, I'm talking to Maria from Abilene, Texas. Situation, interestingly enough, because this comes up oftentimes when people ask about how far do you go to try to work on a relationship, especially with somebody in your family or close circle. And the issue always comes up, what if they're dangerous? What if they're abusive? What if they're nasty? Well, she's already been attacked by her sister. Sister went after her and had to be restrained. So she ran into her sister relatively recently out in public, probably a grocery store or something like that. And the sister started pushing on her. Not physically, we established that. But pushing on her like, where you been? Why don't you talk to me? Why don't you like me? Et cetera, et cetera. And Maria's saying, man, I don't trust you. I just don't trust you. Maria, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay. I suppose if you want to kind of soften it up, you can contact her not in person. That would be one. Another one would be if you are going to have any contact with her, make sure somebody else is there, or it's in a restaurant or someplace. Do that. But I am struggling with a lot of questions here, because for your sister to go after you like that, then this had to have been a relationship that was kind of up and down or strained for a long time, that she wasn't the easiest person to get along with, and now she just kind of went over the line. Does that categorize it?
Yes, it does. And she is known to have a history of physical violence anyway. I don't know if I said that already, with others.
Whew.
Not necessarily within our family, but she's bloodthirsty.
You
But
got
I've
to
always
make a
known that
judgment.
about her. It's
Okay, here you are, dear. I gotta get to some other calls. You got to make a judgment, and that judgment is, if I have contact with my sister, it's going to be under certain conditions, over the phone, or in a public place. If you say to yourself, no, I'm just, even a public place, she can erupt. Okay, you have to make that judgment. Doesn't mean you don't hate her guts. Doesn't mean you're not going to pray for her. Doesn't mean that you're wishing she gets her punishment. You're just saying, I don't trust her emotions. She's revealed herself before. This is a situation that is delicate, and therefore, to be a good Christian about this, I will treat her nicely. Maybe I'll call her every so often. But if she wants to get together, I'll be pretty straight with her. I'll say, I'll tell you, I'm nervous, because the last time you attacked me, and that makes me real, real nervous. That's what I do, Maria. God bless you, dear. Thank you. Julian you're welcome, honey. Julian from Detroit, Michigan, Motown. How are you, Julian?
Just fine, Dr. Ray. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir.
Just wanted to let you know I ordered your book, your recent book for my daughter, so it's under her tree.
Nice. Which one?
No Drama Discipline.
Oh, okay.
The No Drama Discipline or something.
I probably should have mentioned.
Anyway,
I have not even mentioned that on the show, that it just came out about a month ago. I should probably say something about it one of these days.
No problem with the plug.
Thanks.
So anyway, my 19-year-old lives with his mother, and I live nearby. Both my wife and I are active Catholics. His mom is active Catholic, but a little bit irregular. And my son, has been kind of an irregular in his practice of his faith. And up into Thanksgiving, he really was doing fine. Now all of a sudden, he hasn't been getting the Mass. I had these big plans to get him to get him a used car over the holidays and things like that. And I'm worried about if there's too much reward for somebody who's not, doing what they should be doing. He's also delaying employment. He's going to be 20 pretty soon in January. I've been keeping him in a lot of prayer lately, and just if you and the listeners could please keep Jacob in your prayers, that would really be great. So he could come home soon, or at least come home for Christmas time. But I've heard you say about if they're still living at home, should you over reward or something like that? So that's it.
How long's he lived with his mom?
He's been living with his mom pretty much he's been with her for the most of his life.
Is it safe to say that the way she raised him would be different than the way you would raise him?
Yes.
So she may be a little more loose, and now that he's 19, perhaps in her mind, he doesn't have to go to Mass. He can decide on his own, even though he lives with her. That's how she would see it.
That's correct. I think she definitely asks him from time to time, but she says she works a lot, that kind of a thing, and she just took my daughter to mass, and she was. I just saw her at a communal penance yesterday. So lately, the Holy Spirit has been really doing an amazing job with the family. But the 19-year-old the 19-year-old has been vacillating back and forth, and I'm just concerned about over-rewarding. That's all.
I think the alternate question here, Julian, is this. You just mentioned it in passing. Not only is he drifting from his faith, but he's also drifting from responsible living. For example, he hasn't really put in a whole lot of effort into finding employment or moving ahead or cooperating, that he may just be living at home on Easy Street.
Right.
If you were to say, okay, I was going to get him a car, but he's not carrying any of his share of the load. I mean, here's a kid who's not gone to work, so he's living off his mom. I wonder when she's going to get tired of that. For me, it would be, I would sit down with him. I'd say, son, I was toying with doing this. I really was. But I got to see effort on your part. I got to see a more responsible kind of approach here. I'm not going to turn around and buy you a vehicle if you're just kind of stumbling here and there toward a job and you've abandoned your faith. I wanted to do it, son. I really did. But I don't like the direction it's going right now. That would be me. That's what I would do. I'm not telling you what to do, but that's what I would do.
To give him food for thought.
Yeah.
Get him pointed in the right direction for sure.
And it seems, and I'm not in the business of predicting, yes I am, but it would seem that if he's doing this now, then he's heading in a direction where she's going to have a tough time getting him to grow up.
Yeah.
And she's going to get frustrated. She's going to get upset at some point. And then we'll see what happens. Go live with your dad. I'm not putting up with this anymore, kind of thing.
Right.
So I think that if I were to predict, I would think that what you could be facing here in a few years.
Yes, I keep him in the center of my rosary just about every day, and of course, at every mass that I go to. But I, like him at 19, also was away from the church for a couple of years. So, talk about, please, history don't repeat itself in this situation. But,
sure.
But I know that's what happens with young men too. I mean, some guys, they drift away from the faith, but we know the good book tells us that they will return if we plant the seed. So
always got to hope, my friend. Always got to hope. Thanks, Julian.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
You're
Merry
welcome,
Christmas.
sir. You too, sir. This is Dr. Ray. I was going to say I'll be right back, but where else would I go?
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866 Ave Maria or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
We all know the story. After Jonah has preached to the Ninevites, he sits in the shade of a plant, waiting to see what God will do to the city. A day later, the plant is gone, and Jonah becomes very angry with God. His anger is so intense, he says that without the shade of his plant, he would rather die. God's vision knows far better than Jonah's what good or evil exists within the city. Jonah's vision, though, knows only his little patch of shade, more valuable to him than his own life. Most of us, like Jonah, have our little patches of shade, our routines, our homes, our incomes. And when God takes them away, we become angry. We want destruction, even if that destruction might include the innocent. Let them be destroyed, we think, as long as we can have our little patch of shade. GuadalupeWorkers.org.
This week on Christ is the Answer, Father John will preach on the birth of our Lord and our call to bring Christ into our lives. It's almost Christmas time, and as we busy ourselves with preparations and generally getting wrapped up in the season, Father John wants us to remember to ask ourselves, what would Jesus want for Christmas? Let's take time to reflect on the Incarnation and why God became man for us, whom He loves. Tune in for Christ is the Answer, Monday through Fridays at 11 a.m. on Ave Maria Radio.
Thank you for joining me. Let's go to Robert from Bethel, Ohio. Hey, Robert.
Hey, how you doing, Dr. Ray?
Okay, what's going on with this daughter of yours? Why do you think you have to keep her busy?
Well, it's a one-man show apparently, and she does what she's told. She doesn't get fussy about it, but the wife just seems to, I guess, for lack of a better term, ignore it. And I've had the conversation with the wife. She disappears into her room, and my wife will be working throughout the house, and this needs done, that needs done, and it's like you got a young lady in there that could be helping you, and she, not that she refuses, but she doesn't take the initiative to say, hey, come out here and give me a hand, or go do this, or go do that. And
how old is your daughter?
She'll do.
How old is your daughter?
17.
Whoa! So I'm safe to assume she goes into her room and she's on her phone.
Yeah.
And your wife
I'll
really
go in there and I'll say, hey, go ahead.
Your wife's attitude is, well, hey, come on, that's her, and I'm not going to push it, and I don't pay any attention, and I'm busy, and so what?
I don't know that she's so what. I call it the youngest child syndrome.
Wife's out of gas?
I don't know if she's out of gas. She just doesn't want to conflict, maybe.
Would she undercut you if you went up and said, your mom needs you to do this?
No.
Then do it.
No, she wouldn't.
That's one of the great benefits of a marriage. The stronger parent can make things happen.
Yeah. I don't have a problem doing that, but I just would like to see her take the initiative and say, hey,
ain't going to happen.
Where you going?
Ain't going to happen.
Ain't going to happen.
I mean, think about it. If you're saying this is the youngest kid, and for years and years and years and years she hasn't done this, what makes you think at age 17 she's going to start doing it?
I call it the youngest child syndrome. Probably not.
Probably not. And if this kid is 18, 19 and decides to move on or go to college, your wife says, okay, well, that was taken care of. So I would think you have much more leverage and teaching ability for your daughter than your wife. Don't let this become a marital issue. Don't say, we should do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I kind of, and maybe that's my issue, because I'll kind of say something to the wife, and she just kind of looks at me and doesn't say nothing. It's like, okay,
you're beating a dead horse.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. If you're, that's why I asked the key question: is your wife going to undercut you if you just go to your daughter and say, "Hey, your mom needs help with this. Go down, please, and do X"?
No, she would definitely not.
No. Okay, there you go. That makes your life easy. Now, unspoken here, Robert. Unspoken is, well, I don't want to always be the heavy. I don't want to be the bad guy. I want her to realize. I know. That's why I'm the shrink.
That's what I'm calling you.
It comes down to, if you say this is good for my daughter, and if my wife won't do it, then I need to do it. And you're not being mean about it. You're not being nasty. You're asking for.
No, and she does it. She's not begrudgingly. Okay. It's just like, okay, where'd she go? Whoop, she's in her room again.
Well, I think you got a bigger problem, and that is the phone, and that is her living on it. That's the bigger problem. And exactly. At this point, it doesn't sound like there's going to be nothing.
We've taken it from her, and she doesn't throw a fit about it. So, it's just, it is what it is.
I think you're the guy that's going to have to say this is what you have to do to be helpful and cooperative around here, even though your wife doesn't. And maybe, one, you're going to have to accept the fact that your daughter looks at you and says, Dad's always the one who makes me do it, not Mom. That's one. And two, your wife may actually be grateful because for whatever the reason, she doesn't do it. Maybe it's because she doesn't want the conflict. Maybe it's because she doesn't want to fight with your daughter. Whatever it is, it's something that is restraining her from doing this and probably self-doubt. So maybe your wife would be very grateful. You tell her, say, honey, you know what? I'm going to do it.
Self-doubt as in she's doubting herself?
Yeah, I'm worried I won't be liked, or I'm worried there'll be conflict, or I'm worried I'm doing the wrong thing, or I'm worried, sure. All right, got to run. Thanks, Robert.
Yeah.
Thanks to all of you for keeping me company. Andrew Gruchek, Eric Dumont, and all 162 of my listeners. Walk with God. If you fall down, grab his hand.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.